Hello and welcome back to our final session of Doodle Devotional. This week,
it's been a fun trip, hasn't it?
I've enjoyed it. This week we're choosing light and
Choosing light. We have a very special painting at the end of this because, again, working on a shrimp boat, those memories, I paint some crabs at the end, and that's going to be a fun way to wrap this up. And the crabs will really speak to you about choosing light rather than being pulled down by dark things. So I'm excited about you seeing that. But one of the ways that I have found light in my life has been through storytelling. And one of the stories that we've had the privilege to tell is that of the artist Walter Anderson, who lived on the coast, and he would row out to Horn Island and he would sail there and he would paint these beautiful things. He even was creating a pelican dictionary because he stayed with the pelicans so long he could say when they were making this sound they were hungry, and when they were making this sound they were calling their babies or something. So this was a man who really believed that to be in touch with God was to be in touch with nature and the surroundings, and he would paint. And we did a fun film on Walter Anderson. We've done 2 books on Walter Anderson, and
surely there's more to come.
There is more to come, and we'll just tease it like that. But this is a rich story. There are a lot of components there, but Walter chose to find the beauty. And he would be out there with the mosquitoes and the gnats, but he was creating this wonderful art as he went. And I am working on a project now that I was just going to show a few things that I'm working on a graphic novel. And some of these that I'm going to show are more in a finished state. This is Walter drawing crabs and things. I really like the line work there on that, and some
of his artwork
of him drawing there on Horn Island. Speaking of pelicans, and again these spatters, he had a raccoon that he kind of nursed to health there on the island, and he would take care of different animals, and then he would bury them when they died. So just the light against dark and dark against light, creating contrast. So you've got there are some artistic principles in here, but just different artworks where I'm testing out some things. Not all of this will wind up in the graphic novel, but some of it will, but the process is the important thing. So here's a 2-page spread with him rowing, and he's rowing out to Horn Island and approaching the shore, and would stay there for weeks on end and just create artwork. He would ride his bicycle around, he would draw out in the water. So some of these this is John Anderson, who I was drawing as Walter. Made him look a little too old there. So different drawings. Here's Eudora Welty. So these are just things here in the binder. So not all of it fits. James Earl Jones was Mississippian when he died. I did this drawing and posted on Facebook. So there's Faulkner. So lots of different things. Speaking of Maggie Smith and an earlier, Downton Abbey is something that we have always enjoyed watching. So, but at Christmas, remember, I was doing that this Christmas while we were celebrating. Other Walter Anderson images of him opening the cans of food and things, and then him dancing out on the island. So this one is an early one that I haven't worked any more on. So I've got more done than this. But this is a way of telling a different kind of story for Walter Anderson. So I'm going to take my art and tell his story in a way that hasn't been told before. We have other projects that we're working on of telling his story because there are so many facets to his story. Now, as a believer, there are ways of finding beauty in lots of stories. It's all about finding the positive, finding the good, finding love. And Walter was one who was mistreated a lot of times, and people thought he was a bum and they would make fun of him. But he really showed a lot of love and respect for people and tried to get out of the way. And I think in our walk, that's a challenge sometimes, because we find things that make us mad. We find things and choosing light is not always easy to do.
And not always choosing to intervene with things, and sometimes just letting people like Walter paint and
let him be.
have their spiritual walk. Yep.
Right. And his path. And he said, the island was a place that, mortals weren't really allowed there. But he said, Providence, God made an exception in his case and let him participate and see this beauty. Realize, he called it realizations. So he would realize the beauty around him. Mm-hmm. That speaks to me as a believer and as a person of faith that I want to realize the good around me. I want to look for the good. I want to see it. I want to be in that situation for so long and really tuned in where I'm hearing the pelican speak. I'm seeing the good in this person and realizing, he was kind of upset, but I think there are reasons for that. And if you start looking, there's a lot of stuff going on in all of our lives, challenges and problems that we're all having to deal with. And if we start looking for the good or ways that we can be encouragers to others. Mm-hmm. I was having a bad day yesterday, and there are some friends of mine that were on my brain. And I said, you know what, I'm going to send them a message. And it got my mind off of my troubles. And then I got a message back for them saying, I really needed to hear that today. Oh. So speaking encouragement into others sometimes gets us out of our doldrums or whatever, but also it might be just the thing that they're looking for. And I'm hoping that the Holy Spirit speaks more of those moments into me, because yes, the older I get, I want to be an encourager.
What a great thought. Well, I've enjoyed talking to you.
And now we'll take up the offering and we'll go from there. But
we could use it.
This has been fun. So the Doodle Devotional, we hope people will go and pick this up or order this from Whitaker House or wherever fine books are sold. This is a starting point, perhaps, on your journey. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a visual thinker or everyday doodler or you're a fine artist, this is a good place to start. And we hope that you'll be sharing some of your art with us on the journey. Tell us your stories. Look us up on Facebook, message us, and let us know how God is speaking to you through the visual mediums.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our talks and maybe learned a little bit. And we hope you'll go finish this out.
Enjoy this Drawn to Christ. I spent the first 12 years of my life growing up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in Lakeshore, Mississippi. This westernmost tip of the panhandle of the state holds many fond memories for me. Growing there, I was surrounded by a colorful cast of characters, and even now I can see them boarding the shrimp boats with their white shrimping boots, toting orange hampers to fill with their catch. And these summer jobs continued until my freshman year of college at MC. After finishing the Mississippi School for Math and Science in 1990, my parents told me I could do whatever I wanted in the summer before starting college. I chose to be a deckhand one last summer. I knew that my life was to be one of producing art, working with computers and television. I knew, in other words, that I wouldn't be doing heavy manual labor. And I always wanted to remember what extremely hard work was like. It was a choice I made, a choice to work hard, to remember. Life is full of so many choices. We choose our outlooks, we choose our paths towards God and good, or we choose to go away from the light. We choose what to make of situations, and it really does make all the difference. Take a blue crab like the one I'm painting here. We caught many of these on the shrimp boat. And if we put one crab in a hamper alone, it was likely to climb out, choosing to escape its circumstances. But then if we filled the hamper with lots of crabs, very often none would climb out. You see, the other crabs choose to clamp their claws on each other, to pull each other down. When I think of crabs, and I often do because boiled crabs are my favorite food, I think of choices. Do I choose to climb out of bad situations? Do the crabs around me pull me down at times and keep me from going the places I want to go? Do they pull me down and ask me to be a crab with them? There is too much beauty in life to choose to be a crab. And regardless of our situations, regardless of our circumstances, regardless of where we find ourselves, it truly is our choice to climb free and head to somewhere new. I'm Anthony Thaxton. I'm drawn to the beauty all around us. I'm drawn to choosing life and choosing to be free in the love that God has for us. And I'm drawn to Christ.